Welcome to the show,
Yay.
Penny Oleksiak.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. This has been a long time coming.
I know.
What did you do for yourself today? Let's start off with that.
I picked up my ear infection medication.
Yeah, let's backdrop. Penny woke up this morning with an ear infection.
Double.
Both ears?
Both ears.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
So then what happened?
I just took some Advil, but like my ears hurt.
Your ears hurt and you're going back to...
I fly tonight, yeah.
Good luck with that. But I think that just kind of speaks to just how busy you've been over the last little while. I think if we see your social media, we don't necessarily know how crazy your schedule is. I know because I'm texting you on the constant and calling you and you don't pick up, but...
Whoa. You don't pick up either.
We don't need to get into that. But what has Penny Oleksiak been up to?
I feel like you're right that I don't share everything online anymore. I think I used to. And then I honestly feel like talking to you and you being like, oh, don't give them everything.
Don't give them everything.
Okay, fine, I won't. So
okay.
I've stepped back a bit on just posting everything because I think also I just train all the time.
Yeah.
So and that's something I never post about. And I think that really annoyed people was they thought that I wasn't training when I really was. And then that in turn started to frustrate me because I was like, I hate that everyone thinks that I don't work hard for the things that I have. I've kind of pulled back a bit, but at the same time, I'm just trying to be more intentional about what I'm doing online and what I'm posting and what I'm giving people. But that's my online life. In my real life, I'm always on the go.
Going through it, girl.
Always doing something. I really have been, though. I feel like I've been battling so many injuries. And I've been presented with so many challenges and little tests and to see if I'm going to break. And I will not. And I can't. And I don't know. I'm just focused on doing well in Paris.
I mean, we have so much to unpack there from what you said. So I want to just back things up because when I certainly became familiar with you, you were presented to the world as Canada's sweetheart. And I see in your body language that almost makes you cringe. Yeah. I always wonder when you're now at a certain age and you look back to those moments, of course, yes, there was accolades. Of course, yes, there was success and a whole nation kind of behind you. Are you almost resentful for that title?
I don't think so. I think it definitely makes me cringe because I'm I really don't want to be perceived as that now. And I think there are definitely people that still look at me as that 16-year-old girl. And I'm like that. I am 8 years older than that.
Right.
That could not be further from the truth. And I've changed so much over those 8 years.
What do you think of when you think back to that 16-year-old? Obviously you can look back and be like, my only goal was to win. When you think about the mindset at that time, what was that Penny just simply trying to accomplish?
At the time, I just liked swimming and I was good at it. And I wasn't expecting to be as good as I was, I guess, and as good as I am now. I wasn't expecting any success from it. I was just I'm swimming and I'm getting faster and that's cool. And I just want to get my hand on the wall before anyone else does. And that's still the goal. But I think outside of that, so much has changed. My just personal goals and personal things that I'm interested in has changed so much.
When you realize that you are able to put your hand on the wall a lot faster than a lot of people, does that shift kind of the ways in which you take on that responsibility when you have teams that are pouring into you, fan bases now that are pouring into you, a country now that expects what it expects of you? Did you notice that at all as you've kind of grown?
There's definitely a lot of pressure from and expectations of people. I think I saw someone recently comment being she can't go that time even though she's been that time before. And I'm like, dude, I am in training right now. And for me, everyone kind of freaks out with where I'm at, but I'm this is where I'm normally at this point in the season and this point in my training. So for me, I've kind of learned how to manage the expectations. I think it took a lot of years to figure that out.
Right.
Because there was a lot of people just talking at me all the time or expecting things of me or telling me which way to go with what I was doing. Whereas now I'm very happy with myself. I'm really happy with who I am as a person and what I want to achieve. And I know very clearly what my goals are for swimming, what my goals are for life, what I want to do for myself, everything. So I think now it's not as tough as it used to be.
Yeah, I think in how we've built our personal relationship, I will say this is probably the most like peaceful I've seen
Right?
you. And it's so wild because I'm thinking about timing. Like the Olympics are like right around the corner. Whereas I would just expect that this is the time that people are stressed, anxious.
Yeah.
They're not hitting anybody back. They're like in complete hermit mode. And you've done such a great job of reaching out when you need to, but you've also done a really brilliant job of just protecting this peace that you've found.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so important to you to make sure that your mental is at the most high place of priority?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've just, in being a part of this for like 8 years, I think I've just really learned that like I'm going to control what I can control.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told this to so many people recently, but I'm like, the best athletes are the most adaptable ones, the ones that can have anything thrown at them and they're able to just stay the course and focus on it and like keep grinding and do what they can. So I'm just trying to do that. Like, I'm just trying to enjoy what I'm doing, control what I can control, surround myself with really good people. I feel like I have a really, really good support system right now. And I'm like, that is like the biggest thing for me.
I think when we talk about the things that you can't control, the injuries,
Mm-hmm.
which injury for you was your first like, ah, shit?
The first one that I was like really frustrated with was probably, I had like a shoulder one that a lot of people don't know about, which was like when I tore my knee the first time, I was like, I have 2 years till the Olympics. Like, okay, whatever. And I was like, I had just taken 3 months off, was going to get back to training, tore my knee. And I was like, okay, whatever. We're going to just rehab. And I came back, and then as soon as I was like ready to start training again, then I got like a neurological thing into my shoulder blade that just made my shoulder blade completely deteriorate, turn off, could not gain muscle on it no matter what, until it just like decided to start working again. And that one for me, I was like, doctors couldn't tell me if I was going to come back from it or not. They were like, hopefully it comes back. We don't know. And I couldn't even like hand someone a glass of water. So I was like, oh, so this is real.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know what to
yeah.
do about this. No one can help me.
You talk about the trust and faith that you have in other people. I'm wondering, how much trust and faith do you have in yourself? And when did that muscle really start working for you in your life?
Like, I've always kind of just like assumed that things are going to work out for me. 'Cause I also just know, like, if one thing isn't meant for me, something else is.
Right.
So I think I've always had that trust and faith in myself, in the sense of like, I know what I'm capable of. I know that like what I want to achieve is like so out there that like wherever I land is going to be pretty sick as well. So I just have a lot of just faith in myself.
A lot of people are going to focus obviously on the performance side of things. You know me, I like the more personal side. Why is it so important to you to make sure that the life stuff is good? You're living your life, you're getting new experiences as a young adult. Why is that so important for you for people who might not understand, because they assume that if you want to be at the top of the top, you have to sacrifice everything. And really you've proven that that's not how it always goes. And it's not actually necessary for you to still be good.
Yeah. I think that came from my parents. Just growing up, they always taught us like, you need balance in life. Like, you can't just like go. And like, maybe there are people that can do that, but that's just not the way I thrive. That's not the way I work. That's not how I live my life in the morning, and I wake up and I'm excited to go to training. Like, I'm excited because I love meeting new people. I love just like experiencing life. And I'm like, what is a life worth living if you're not experiencing things and like taking opportunities where you can? Because you don't know where your path is going to take you. And like, I could go and do something and that could be now my new path that I'm going to go down, you know? So I'm just very much like, my focus is always like what my career is at that moment. Right now my career is swimming, and I put a lot of work and focus into it. And I will tell people like 100 times more about like the cool things I'm doing and how I'm not training than I will my training, because that's just what I do every day. It's like my job. I'm not gonna
and you're still a young adult.
Yeah.
Like, you're still living your life. You know, I was going through your social media, as I do, and you made a post of you going to Coachella and just going through the comments of how many grown adults are trying to dictate and tell you what you should be doing with your free time. How much of a frustration is that in feeling like one, you might not be able to post. Like, do you feel uncomfortable posting the life moments? But then also, two, that you might have to almost over explain your existence as a young woman.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I think for everyone out there too, I was at Coachella for one day. I did not go for a whole weekend.
You could have been there the whole weekend, girl.
I know.
Nobody's business.
I know. But like, you know, I think people think, again, that I'm not serious about what my job is. And I hate having to explain that to people, because I'm just like, you don't go and ask a hockey player if they're training every single second of every single day. You know, those guys are out there also going and playing golf on the weekend and stuff like that. I don't know what else hockey players do. But I don't know. I think I'm just living. I'm just experiencing life the same way as everyone else. And if people aren't happy with that, then I don't really know what to tell you. I'm putting in the work.
When did you settle in the confidence of like, this is who I am, and I don't care what anyone perceives me as, but this is exactly who Penny wants to be?
Yeah, I mean, I also like, I'm really interested to hear
don't be flipping
where that
questions
answer
on me.
is for you. But for me, I'd say it's the last couple of years. I think I was training at the High Performance Center in Toronto for a really long time. I like started training with them when I was like 12, which is kind of crazy, just being in that high performance environment and constantly being told like what you need to do with your days, what you need to do with your weekends, what you should be eating, how you should be looking. Like, you need to come on the pool deck every day with a smile on your face. If you come on the pool deck and you're tired, like, what, you're wasting everyone's time. Like, you know, I always had everything very like dictated for me, how I carry myself on the pool deck, how, just everything, what I should post online, what I should talk about here. And I was just very much like overwhelmed by that. And while that was overwhelming, I think there is also so many good things I took out of that. Right. Like, so many ways of like how to act professionally, especially in the swimming world. And all that stuff is really good. But at the same time, I think there was so much of my personality that was like suppressed in that. And I was always told like, you're like a little too crazy, you're a little too outgoing, you talk all the time, you know, because I am a yapper. But I think in the last couple of years, since I kind of like took a bit of time away from the center, I've really been able to like blossom into my true self. And I like to joke around, I like to have fun, I like to enjoy what I'm doing, make sure that other people are enjoying it too. When I'm at training, I'm like always just talking to everyone and just trying to make it a good time for people. And I think like I thrive off of the people around me, how they're all doing. And I love going to the pool now. Yeah. I am so grateful for the team I have and the people I'm surrounded by, which I feel like you could probably count how many times I'm going to say this in this interview. But it's like so true.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
I mean, I guess, sure, I'll answer your question back to me, even though that's not how this thing goes, Penny. I think 2020, we were having a lot of conversations around race and advocacy for diversity in spaces. I felt this like heavy responsibility to kind of be that person to speak up all the time. And I almost felt like it was like a reflex of my personality. And that was just who I now was the person that spoke on diversity. Yeah. And as you know, that's not fully who I am. I believe in those things. I advocate for those things. I speak on those things. But I also like to exercise. I also like to have fun. I like to go on my joy rides. I like to hang out with my kid. Like, there were so many other things that I felt like I was suppressing, and I wasn't allowing myself to show, because I thought it would skew how people viewed me as less serious about what I would stand up for. And then I think I just got to a point, and it had to have been when I've like took my leave of absence, where I just said, F it. Like, who cares? Yeah. And sometimes the resistance isn't just you being who you are and enjoying things that you want to enjoy and not having to explain it. Like, that's the radical act. I've always feel like when I watch you, you're kind of radically living your life. And what I love the most is you just don't care. Like, you just don't care. And I think as we're watching you come of age, I love this confidence that you're finding in yourself, in your body, and how you dress and how you style. But it's interesting to see how audiences sexualize you in ways.
I know.
Do you feel that too as a woman?
I think yes and no. I think there have definitely been moments where I'm like, come on, people, like, really?
Yeah.
You know? But I've also just like accepted that that's the way the world is right now. And as much as I don't love it, I'm like, I am just going to come as myself, and how people react to that is how they react to that. But I'm so like comfortable with myself and who I am as a person. And I know, like, my mom sometimes freaks out. She's like, why are you posting that online? People are going to think this of you. I'm like, if people have not realized who I am by now, then like, I don't think I'm ever going to change their opinions on me.
And that's not your job.
Yeah.
It's
like
really not your job.
I know who I am to my core. And like, just because I'm wearing something does not take away from who I am as a person and what I care about and what I do with my life.
Do you consider yourself a role model?
I personally get so much joy out of when I meet people. A lot of the first things people will say to me is like, we love you for who you are. Like, okay, cool, you have these medals, but like, you as a person are just like so sweet, so kind. Like, you really care about the people you're talking to. You really take time for people to talk to them. When I have those kids that like write me letters saying like, I just love who you are as a person and like I really look up to you in that way, I'm like, that means so much to me, because like I have spent so many years where I didn't feel like a good enough person and where I was like obsessively working on myself to the point of like, if I was in the car, I wouldn't let myself listen to music because I was like, I need to listen to a podcast because I need to like get smarter and I need to learn and I need to, you know, or just like, if I was at home, I couldn't just chill. I needed to be reading a self-improvement book, you know? And I had this like overwhelming feeling of like not being a good person. Whereas now I'm like, no, like I actually think I am. And I think that like I do really genuinely care about people and I really do value authenticity so much. And I really try to carry myself with that all the time. So now when people compliment me on that, I'm like, that if I can be a role model in any way, that's the way I want to be a role model.
I want to touch on that point that you just brought up there, because I feel like we're now in this age, especially with women, about self-discovery, self-improvement podcasts, books, all these things. And
Pilates,
you know,
yoga.
Yoga, Pilates, this. Where do you stand on that when you consider your mental health? What does that improvement piece look like for you?
For me, I'm less focused on trying to be a better person because I've been like, okay, girl, like you are fine.
Yeah.
You care for the people around you and like, you know who you are. But I think at the same time, just actually knowing yourself and being able to check yourself and being able to be like, am I being insecure about this when I'm like lashing out about that? You know, like that for me is where I feel like that's where self-improvement has come for me, is like knowing who I am and really like checking myself with things like, how do you feel today? Like, are you just going about life to go about life, or are you actually like waking up with intentions every day and like, you know, doing things with purpose?
Does that awareness in ways kind of limit who you can be around? Because I'm always like, if you're a young athlete, you walk around with this awareness, obviously from a physical standpoint, but now you have it paired in with the mental standpoint of things. Are you hanging out with people your age?
Am I? Honestly, I love a single mom.
Well,
I love a single mom. There is something with me and single moms that I'm like so tight. I feel like a lot of my close friends are single moms, weirdly. But I just think that's because like a single mother knows themselves to their core so deeply, and they don't feel like they need like anyone else, and they're so intentional about what they're doing, and they care so much for like their children or their child. And like for me, that is just like everything I kind of stand for, is just like that authenticity that like so many single mothers have, which like weird, I feel like I have this like obsession with single moms, but
it's not easy.
Honestly, I don't find I hang out with too many kids my age. There's definitely people here and there, but like I think like someone like a Bianca or someone like a Marissa Paps, like they're really cool people. They have experienced so much. They've gone through so many different like trials and tribulations, and I think I really relate to people like that more.
Yeah.
That have like been through stuff or have had to grow to get to where they are, or, you know, just people that have like seen the world, experienced things, and are just interested to learn, you know?
Lastly, I want to focus on this, and not necessarily so much of what you want to accomplish in the pool. I believe in you. I know you're going to be great. Yeah. Okay. But in ways, does this summer feel way different because of the moment that you're meeting as the person that you are now?
It definitely feels so different to me. I'm really excited because like I have put in an insane amount of work this year, and I'm just excited to go to another Olympics. It's my third one, and I'm like, this is insane. But also, I just feel like I'm going into it with such a new perspective.
Right.
And
what
like,
is that new perspective, do you think?
before, I was like, my first Olympics, I was really naive, didn't know what I was doing, just went into it, had a good time. My second one, I had like more confidence in my training and my abilities, and I was really just like going in, still kind of nervous, had more awareness of my surroundings. So I was like kind of stressed out about it, but I had like a different confidence. Whereas like now I feel like I'm going into it and I'm like, I know what I'm doing now, and like this is my career now, and it's not over for me. I want to go to 28, so I'm like, this is another stepping stone in that path. But like, I just like am really enjoying the process right now, and I'm really enjoying getting to where my goals are, and I like can finally see that like my goals are actually achievable, and they're things that I really want to do and things that I want to do, not things that anyone else is telling me I need to wake up in the morning and do this. Like, everything I'm doing is like, I really want to do that, and I really want to achieve that, and that's something that I can see so clearly that's like coming from myself.
Does it feel like a fresh reset?
Yeah, I think it's definitely all of that. Like, I love when people count me out. It's like my favorite thing when people are just like, don't worry about her. I'm like, yeah, forget about me over there, because like when you all come back and you remember who I am and you see who I am, like, I love it. It's my favorite thing, is just to like prove people wrong and like do it all with like a smile on my face. I'm not doing it for vengeance. I'm not doing it because of those people. Like, I'm just doing it because I love it and I enjoy it. And it's just funny to me when people are like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have done that, you know? And I'm like, I don't even hate them for it. I'm just like, I told you guys, you know?
Thanks for taking the time, Penny.
Thanks
Proud
for
of
having
you.
me. Oh.